We have just shifted from our sukha and dukkha focus, and we've moved to another of what are known as the three characteristics of existence, or the three truths. Anatta, translated as non-self or no self. It's pretty easy to get very heady, very philosophical with this one. If the self is not real or true, then what is the self? What am I? Who am I? And there's so much we can say and ponder and try to understand about this. But let's keep it simple and let's keep it real. Let us discuss whatever is relevant and directly supportive of our practices on and off the cushion. Let's take a look at this important truth from angles and perspectives that will support our development of clearer seeing, clearer perceiving, and clearer understanding. We have an opportunity to explore this from the inside out, to come to know something about this truth from the vantage point of our lived experiences and from the embodied practices of mindful awareness. So this idea of the self, is it any wonder that typically we, with all our Western acculturation, which places such great emphasis and gives such importance to the self, that we often do not explore beneath the surfaces of these constructs and conceptualization? Just consider some of the terms that we use all the time. Self-awareness, self-control, self-efficacy, self-esteem, self-determination, self-fulfillment, self-image, self-identity, self-perception, self-regulation, self-actualization. And those are just a few of the myriad of ways we refer to the self as if it is an actual thing. But is it? What is it? Where is it located? This is the delusion or ignorance that is referred to by Buddha when he describes the sufferings of greed, hatred, and delusion. This is delusion, specifically, that we misperceive reality as it truly is because of our perpetual inclination towards pleasant, the constant aversion or turning away from unpleasant, and the ignorance or lack of awareness that we have in our sense and sensory-based reactivity. I understand anatta as being the simple truth that this being that is referred to as me is environmentally, socially, and circumstantially conditioned to understand and relate with self with a capital S, as if me and all the gateways of my experience, hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling, thinking, is all me, and therefore is simply what is, and there's nothing more. This is my fabricated, constructed perception and experience of self. This conditioned, self-referential, self-oriented, self-centered me is just this, a huge and complex conglomeration of patterns and conditioning, beginning when my life began, on some levels even before then, and continuing in many ways throughout my life. And these ways in which us humans engage is often referred to as selfing. We are all experts on our typical and conditioned self. If we'd like, we can all identify countless ways on a daily basis, and even minute to minute and moment by moment examples of how our automaticity, reactivity, and conditioning are present in healthy, beneficial, wholesome ways, and also in all of its not so healthy, not so beneficial, and not so wholesome ways. And this is good, folks. As Bill emphasized yesterday, this is good. This means we are healthy and normal. We have the self construct that enables us to orient to ourselves and to and with our world. But as Bill also shared yesterday, this is not all there is. If we would ask people, what makes us unique as human beings? We will hear about volition, free choice, the ability to think independently and determine our choices and then act upon them. But as humans, we also have the amazing capacity of awareness, of knowing I am breathing while breathing, of knowing I am thinking while thinking, of knowing I am speaking to you right here and now while speaking, and so on. And here's the good news. This alternate way, the way of awareness, we are all already in the midst and in the very process of developing it. The mindful view, the human capacity to exercise a non-judging and non-reactive and kind, caring manner of paying attention with each moment, while at the very same time being embodied within this moment, feeling our feelings and knowing we are feeling, thinking thoughts and knowing we are thinking, experiencing physical somatic sensations in the body and knowing we are feeling sensations. This is the capacity inherently within each of us, on which we are all developing. We are all students and practitioners on this path. We recognize that the three truths of anicca, impermanence, dukkha, suffering or discontent, and anatta, non-self, are true for all of us, no more and no less than for Buddha or for any other human. So we get to practice. And practicing off the cushion means that we muster the energy and the willingness to examine any moment-to-moment experience. What is happening? Is selfing happening? How do we know? We won't ever be perfectly mindful. We won't ever be absolutely always aware. In fact, can you see the selfing that goes into the very notion of being perfectly mindful or always aware? No moment is inherently better than any other. So we don't get hung up on missed moments and missed opportunities. And when we do, can we see the selfing that is happening? I saw a wonderful description of selfing given by scholar and teacher Andrew Olendzki. He writes that grasping is not something done by the self, but rather self is something that is done by grasping. Grasping is not something done by self, but rather self is something done by grasping. Can we see into this? This is the process of our development of awareness of anatta. Seeing all the selfing we engage in as just this, selfing. I know plenty of selfing went into my preparing this talk for you today. My desire to give a wonderful, clear, helpful talk was strong. There it is, my desire. More of my own I thinking, me thinking, mine thinking. And that's the thing. It's not that we're saying that selfing is solely when we're occupied with mundane or even selfish endeavors. Selfing can and does occur in the midst of wholesome, wonderful, and worthwhile endeavors as well. If I am engaging without awareness, and if I am engaged with any form of grasping, this is selfing. Simply this. Can I see this? And most importantly, can I see selfing unfiltered through a lens of judgment? As if selfing is some sort of sin I am committing. No, I am human. Of course I get caught up in selfing. I practice by seeing selfing and appreciating the seeing. Being grateful for the seeing. Being appreciative of the willingness to engage with a practice that so often asks of me to be courageous with my rigorous honesty with myself. I have heard Susan talk about putting an imaginary gold star around a thought when we see it as such. putting an imaginary gold star around a feeling when we see it, and so on. Or we can be more specific or more precise. Perhaps it's a gold star around a worry that was noticed, or a gold star around a ruminative thought about something that has already happened in the past. This is a lovely and deeply skillful way of practicing with our selfing. Relating to our selfing in this understanding way, this is compassion with self. This is the heart of this practice. This is always the heart of this practice, and which will enable our practice to bear much fruit. And on the cushion, how about all those thoughts about the practice experience itself? Like, I'm not doing this right. I can't stay focused. Why do I keep on wandering to that silly thought? I don't like how the teacher is guiding this sit. I wonder what I'm going to eat today for lunch. I can't believe how good I am at this. I'm such a good meditator. I stink at this. I'm such a bad meditator. And so on. Can I see the selfing? Here are some additional guideposts that can serve to remind, remember, and reinforce. What does it feel like in the body? Literally in the body. For example, in the chest and belly area, or in the upper back and shoulders, or in the face. When we are in the midst of our normative, automatic, reactive ways of dealing with moments in our life. Pick any moment and check in about this. What's it like in the body when we are enjoying a moment? And what's it like when we aren't? What's it like in the body when we're noticing and experiencing, even for brief moments, without judgment? This may sound like a funny question, but consider asking yourself, what's this moment feeling like in the mind? Does this moment that is being noticed feel crowded in the mind, heavy, noisy, spacey, grounded, settled, light, spacious? Bear in mind that the questions we ask are always what questions, not why. We aren't seeking to analyze in the typical sense of that word. Knowing what is happening as it happens, this is our process of awakening. See if you can find your own words to describe the felt sense experience, how it is being felt in the mind, in the heart, in the body. Can we see the contracting in the body, the heart, and the mind when we become caught up in I, me, mine? And what changes? What opens? What loosens? What expands in the heart, body, and mind when non-judging and caring awareness of the selfing is brought forth? Selfing will continue to happen, not a matter of if, but simply when and how. We attend to this, and we awaken through the practices of seeing this. Thank you for your caring attention.